What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. We're going to be talking about the top 10 cheap supercars that you guys can buy if you're broke. And be sure to stick to the end because I'm sure the last one will blow your mind. But first, let's do a poll. So coming in at number 1, we have the 2015 Alfa Romeo 4C. Now this car in general just screams exotic. From the exterior and the interior of the car, it stands out compared to a lot of other cars that you see on the road. And it definitely falls in that supercar category. Now what's funny is that it has 237 horsepower, which really isn't all that much, but when you look at the 0 to 60 times, it's around 4 seconds. And that's because it weighs so little. It only weighs 2,400 pounds. Now me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Alfa Romeo, but if I were to get one, I would definitely get the 4C. You can actually find them for around $40,000 to $50,000 online, and they come in a manual transmission. So that makes these cars extremely fun to drive. Now coming in at number 2, we have another slept-on car, and that's a 2015 Jaguar F-Type SVR. And man, that's a pretty long name, but this car comes with 575 horsepower. It's a naturally aspirated V8, and actually has one of the best sounding stock exhausts out of any other car. Check out this clip. They stand out compared to a lot of other supercars out there, and you can get them for around $50,000 to $60,000. Jaguar has done a good job, especially on their new cars, and making them really exotic and making them actually quite affordable and making them look like actual supercars and affordable. The only problem is with the newer F-Types, they're actually 4-cylinder motors. So that sort of takes away from the fun. So you got to make sure that if you're looking to get an F-Type car, make sure it's at least a V8. And you can get the Jaguar SVR for around $50,000 to $60,000 as well. Now coming in at number 3, we have the 2011 Lotus Elise. Now this is an absolute classic car. And I know what you guys are thinking. This car is terrible. It has only 217 horsepower. But here's the thing. It has a 0 to 60 of 4.3 seconds. It's really light. It comes in a manual transmission. And you have to remember, guys, speed is not everything. The Lotus Elise is actually one of the best handling cars ever, especially if you're trying to carve up some mountain roads. Now, the interior of the car is not all that great, but when you look out the outside, it definitely screams supercar. It's very compact, and it definitely could be a part of the supercar lot at a car show. And I've seen the Lotus Elise go as low as like $45,000 to $50,000. And if you guys didn't know, Toyota actually worked on the motor of these cars. So I guess that's a good sign in terms of reliability. Now, coming in at number 4, we have a 2015 BMW i8. You guys are probably going to hate me for this one as well, but hey, if you guys are broke, it's going to be hard to get supercar performance. Believe it or not, this car is actually a hybrid, so it has a gas and electric motor. It produces 357 horsepower and has a 0 to 60 of 4.2 seconds. And one of the main reasons as to why I put it on this list is because it has very exotic looks, and of course the doors go up. And I can't think of any type of car in the $40,000 to $50,000 price range where the doors go up. So I'm sure a lot of you guys would be purchasing this car just to flex the doors. But just understand, this car is not going to sound that good, and it's not all that fast. And it doesn't really have the best performance. But a 0 to 60 of 4.2 seconds isn't bad at all. That's faster than my car. I have a 2015 Lexus RCF that gets around a 0 to 60 of 4.3 seconds. And this is a V8. Now coming in at number 5, we have a really amazing car, and that's the 2009 Aston Martin DB9. This car comes with a naturally aspirated V12. And I've seen them go for around $45,000 to maybe $60,000. They have 470 horsepower, and all I'm saying is if you're trying to be like James Bond, have the amazing symphony of a V12 motor, all while not spending $100,000, then this may be the perfect car for you. Just by hearing and seeing this car, you would assume that's at least like a $100,000 plus car, but you can literally get them for around half of that. And then coming in at number 6, we have a 2009 Audi R8. Now this is one of the most classic supercars out there, and you can get them for around $50,000 to $60,000 in good condition. They have 420 horsepower, a V8, and this has to be one of the best bargains that you guys can get for a supercar. Some of them even came with a gated manual. And if you have a little bit higher budget, let's say an extra $10,000 to $15,000, you can get the V10 version, which has the same exact motor in a Lamborghini Huracan. And this car will actually catch a lot of heads out on the street. And honestly, because I see a lot of the newer Audi R8s on the road compared to the first generation. Now coming in at number 7, we got a car for you guys that love American muscle, and that's a 2005 Dodge Viper SR10. One thing that's pretty insane to me is that this car comes with 500 horsepower. We're talking about back in 2005. Now I sort of see why this car is called a widowmaker. These are absolute classic of cars and they're going up in value, but you can get them for around $50,000 to $60,000. Like, I can't even imagine what other car would be faster in 2005. And the looks of this car are very timeless. It looks like a supercar, it performs like a supercar, and you get that amazing sound of the V10. Now coming in at number 8, we have the 2005 Porsche 911. You can actually get these cars for under $40,000 and they have 381 horsepower. These cars are very light and they have a supercar look. And let me tell you, spending around $40,000 for a Porsche 911 can be a lot better than spending $100,000+ on a new 2020 model. Now, if I had the money and I wanted to get a Porsche, I would personally get a GT3 RS. As overhyped as this car is, I just can't get over that amazing sound of that inline 6. And it's actually one of the best performing cars in the world. And anytime someone asks you what type of car that you have, you can tell them like, hey, I have a Porsche 911. Just don't tell them what year it is or how much you spent on it. Now coming in at number 9, we have a car that is pretty controversial, but I think it deserves to be on this list. And that's a 2020 C8 Corvette. This car comes with 490 horsepower and has a 0 to 60 of 2.9 seconds, which is absolutely mind-boggling considering that it's just a Stingray. And you can get the car for around $50,000 to $60,000. And I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, this is not a supercar, it's just a Corvette. But let me tell you, the performance, the looks of the car, the interior of the car, it's pretty much a supercar at the end of the day. Now, do I consider it a supercar? Not really, because it is a Corvette and Chevy doesn't produce supercars, but it definitely stands out in a car meet and can roll with other supercars. It sort of has the same effect as the new 2020 Supra. That thing has supercar looks, it can have supercar performance, but it's not really a supercar at the end of the day. It's just a Supra. Now, lastly, at number 10, this is one of my all-time favorite supercars and one of the most affordable supercars that you can ever get, and that's a 2012 McLaren MP4 12C. Not only does this car have butterfly doors, but it has a 0 to 60 of 3.2 seconds and has a turboed V8 that sounds absolutely amazing. It's probably one of the best entry-level supercars out there, and you can get them for around $80,000 to $90,000, which isn't a bad deal at all. Now, I'd personally get one of those instead of like a 2005 Lamborghini Gallardo. And I have looked at tons of reviews online of this car and also the McLaren 650S. And let's say you just had an extra $20,000 laying around, you could actually get a 650S. They're pretty similar cars, except the 650S has a completely different front end and has more power. And on top of that, the 650S has newer technology and it almost looks like a P1. And that's personally one of my dream cars right now, is a McLaren 650S, because not only is it affordable, it's actually one of the best looking supercars out there, and not many supercar owners have them. Because you guys know how I am, I love unique cars, I like cars that stand out, not cars that everyone else drives. But other than that, you guys, those are the top 10 cheap cars for broke guys. And I know broke is a relative term, but if you don't have supercar money, but you have a little bit of money laying around, these cars are definitely attainable. But honestly, you guys, what car would you guys choose for that price range? Let's say around $50,000 to $90,000. If you can get one of these supercars, these budget supercars on this list, which one would you get? As you guys can see here, I have my 2015 Lexus RCF. Just doing a little update as well in this video. All I've done was add these carbon side fenders here. I actually got a really good deal on this. On eBay, it was like $190 for both of them, but usually it's around $400 just to get these carbon fiber pieces, and these are actually real. Didn't take me too long to put it together whatsoever. I just had to wash off this part here behind it, take the badge off, and then put the badge back on over it. And I need to stop being lazy as well. I got my calipers on, the red calipers with the F badge on it, and I need to paint these red as well. These are still black, so I'll probably do that within a couple of weeks here. And all I've really done, like I mentioned before, is just put these extenders on. It's lowered on Megan Racing coilovers. Hopefully you guys can tell. I lowered it maybe like 1.5 to 2 inches. Any more than that, honestly, I probably wouldn't even have an undercarriage or a front lip, and my bumper would be gone. Or not front lip, like my front bumper would be destroyed. I've already scraped pretty hard in Atlanta. One of the reasons as to why I don't like going, you can see I have these. This almost looks like real carbon fiber, but it's not. These are from eBay as well. They were like $40-50. Got the red seats. Haven't really done much. I put this chrome delete vinyl on it. It's not really lasting that long. It's like cracking, but I'll probably get that replaced too. I'll need to put tint on the car. I have zero tint on the windshield, and it's killing me, man, because when I'm driving, the sun's radiating through it. So I'll probably get like 30% on the windshield, maybe put like 15 or 10% on the sides there. It does look pretty dark and see, but it's only like maybe 25 to 30%. That's how I got the car. But overall, you guys, let me know if you have any recommendations on the next type of modifications that I should do. I haven't done any type of performance stuff to it. All I've really done, like I said, is just lowered it. I did a muffler resonator delete. As far as what I'm going to do for an actual exhaust, I'm going to get the res titanium. So I just have these stainless steel ones here, but more to come for this car. The only problem that I have with this car is that it's pretty expensive to put parts on it because not many people buy it. Now, personally, what I would get after this, and this is going to be one of my ultimate dream cars, is I want to get a McLaren 650S. And I do know if I can trade this in, add some more cash on top of that, I might be able to get one, but that's not going to be for at least a couple of years from now. But if I were to get another car in a similar price range, maybe throw an extra 10 to 20,000, probably get a C8 Corvette. I was thinking about IS 500, but honestly, you might as well get a Vet at that point. 0 to 60 of 2.9 seconds. Can't really beat that. So we shall see. Be sure to put down in the comment section any types of cars that you might have thought I left out. And what are your guys' thoughts? Can you afford these cars? Do you see yourself affording these cars in the future? And let me know what types of videos you guys want to see next. With that, be sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.